States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All 5 board members are present. Lovely to see you all again. Next is director report, but we are currently in our reconvened recessed meeting from Monday, March 9th. Just so you all know, this is a statutory board meeting, and up first is our director report by Lori Wells, our chief school business official.
So I believe that everybody on the attachment should have received the approval letter for our levy rates. And so they approved them as we proposed them, and I am asking that you approve the levy order and rate sheet. It is the same as the proposed levy rates. Any questions?
So I'm going to ask that you approve the and officially enter the FY27 levy order and rates.
All right, do we have a motion to approve and officially enter the fiscal year 27 levy order and rates? Mr. Reed makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second with much enthusiasm. All of those, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The time is 6:03. Do we have a motion to adjourn our reconvened recessed meeting from Monday, March 9th? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mrs. King, will second that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Stay put. We would now like to call to order our regular meeting of the Ritchie County Board of Education for Tuesday, April 22nd. I meant 21st. I see the one right there. I don't know why it came out differently. 21. Thank you. We will not do the pledge again. Again, all 5 of us are still present. Nobody left the room. So do we have any agenda items to table or remove?
Yes, we do. Under L, which is personnel, we have L2C, L2D, L2F, and L3A. And then under finance, we have N1. All are indicated with strike-throughs on the agenda.
The superintendent is recommending that we approve the agenda with the noted modifications. Do we have a motion to approve it? Mr. Reed makes the motion. Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the minutes from April 7th. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Nelson will make the motion. Mr. Hall will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have no delegations present. So we will move on to our superintendent's report and academic updates.
So I just have a few things to share with you. At the second meeting of every month, we do go over student attendance. In front of you, you have the chart that you've seen every month for student attendance. It has chronic absenteeism, our attendance rate, as well as our regular attendance. And this is a form that we've created ourselves. We like to be in the green and the blue and the yellow in every area, which we are. So we are at least at standard, minimum standards or above. And if you look at chronic absenteeism, our county rate is 12.42. The goal for the state is that you're under 20%. So we are far below, we're far reaching to get that goal and in good shape. If you look, Smithville, we range anywhere from 2.02% to Harrisville, which is at 15.26%. So I just wanted to give you that information. Our county is averaging a 94.42 attendance rate, and our regular attendance rate is just above half at 58%. And that's part of the strive for 95 to miss 5 or less days. So I just wanted to share that information with you about students. The next thing in front of you that you have is a copy. It says draft at the top. We have made a slight adjustment based on some meetings that some of the board members have prior to bringing this next meeting for approval. We have moved the January meetings, so I'd like you to make sure that you look at those and see if those are okay with you. And then the rest of the list stayed as we had discussed. I wanted to share that. So please, again, look at that and let me know if you have any problems with it. A couple of other things in front of you. You have one more sheet of paper. We've had a lot of discussion about weather this year. And you have a sheet that has a calendar that looks like this on one side. And on the back side, it has all the snow days and things that we've missed. I have listed them, what our additional PL day was, all the NTI days, all the snow days, all of the OS days. And then on the OS days, I've indicated what day employees have to work. Remember, the students got those 4 days waived, but the adults did not. And then the days that we've had delays. So if you look at the calendar part, I've indicated with X's the days that were the OS days, and I've indicated which days and the adjustment to the employee calendar, and have shared this with all employees. So you'll see their employees' last day is June 2nd, where students' last day remains May 27th. I think that makes that a little clearer. If you have any questions from anyone about that, we have shared that with all of the schools and all the principals and have answered any questions that might be out there.
I had a superintendent in another county tell me, your superintendent knows the calendar better than anyone I've ever seen.
Because, okay, did you answer, and our superintendent's old, that's why.
I did not. I said, I believe that used to be part of her job, and she knows it very, very well, yes.
Well, but it's so scary to think you could make a mistake, because you don't want to do something that isn't in line with employees' expectations in their contract. So we checked and double checked, and so you're getting a copy of all the double checks.
I
Okay?
believe that superintendent also sometimes calls you questions for it, so I appreciate that you're sharing that knowledge with other counties. And also, just, we are not the first county to use non-traditional instruction days, but other counties in our area did not, and you've also been able to provide some nice mentoring for that as well. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks. I think it takes all of us, they answer a lot of my questions as well. So the next thing I want to just share with you is outdoor rec camp. We have had registration for students. We have 172 students that will come at some point during outdoor rec camp. On the agenda tonight, you will see the people that we have that we would like to hire to run the outdoor camp. We have the bus schedules already finished, and we have the menus done. So we are ahead of the game in preparing for outdoor rec camp. A couple of other little things, I guess they're not little. Preschool registration is May 1st. Our numbers are down in preschool. So I just want you to know, if you know any little neighbors running around, make sure that they call and get registered for preschool. But numbers across the state are down, and that was an expectation that they would be down some. We always end up with more than what we have at registration, so we don't really know the exact number we'll have when school starts, but we will let you know the closer we get. We also are doing it a little bit different this year with 3-year-olds, so we don't have that number as far as how we assess them and how we bring the 3-year-olds in, so that also changes what number we normally have at this time. So I just wanted to let you know that. Today, we worked, and yesterday, we began our collaborative reviews with our principals, and we've had some really good meetings, really good ideas that have come out of them, and we will continue that process the rest of this week. And it's, for us, it's a good process to bring the principals in. It's a level of accountability, as well as giving them an opportunity to showcase things at their school and be able to collaborate with us to make sure that county-wide we are making solid, good decisions. And so we've had the middle school and the high school so far, and we start with the elementaries tomorrow. And tonight's meeting, you will see it as a theme. We are doing finance. Dr. Jackson and myself attended the Regional School Board Association meeting this past week, where the theme was finance.
For 3 hours.
And my last superintendent's conference, for 2 days. The theme was finance, and that seems to be what's going on. But it is the time of year where we have our statutory meeting and we have our budget workshop. And I just want to say that Mrs. Wells has worked very hard and long hours in making sure that we have the information to educate you with tonight and provide you good guidance in continuing to make good decisions financially. So with that said, that's all I have, and we're ready to conduct our budget.
Yeah, I would say that legislatively and also with the direction of the state board, considering the condition of some of the counties, I think is it 14 counties who have been under state control. Well, not all of it has been financed. Obviously, we have a neighboring county that's very wealthy that's under state control right now. A lot of it has been financed, and so they have insisted that the School Board Association provide additional finance training. So that's why it's happening at the School Board Association and for the Superintendent's Association. And it will be happening at the new board members training as well. I saw a copy of that curriculum today. So much fun to continue to discuss it.
I have a question about the 3-year-olds. Do we have very many in program now?
Yes, and those won't go through screening, so that will affect our numbers as well.
Okay. Now,
Do we have we don't have a wall, we have
okay,
some.
does it, based on their needs, but what if our rooms are full?
Then
They can't come, which isn't a problem.
Or but with preschool, you can go to different schools too, it doesn't have to be just a school in your district. So we try to work out something, but I don't see that being an issue.
Right.
All right, we are moving on to our fiscal year 27 budget workshop. So we are being handed
Lots of things.
lots of things.
I'll do my best to go over it without getting tongue-tied, but I seem to do that a lot today for some reason. So now that everybody has one, we'll go ahead and start with the first page, which is our revenue estimates. So it's in this budget.
We're gonna go to budget first?
Yeah.
Okay. This other's for later, right?
Yes.
Okay, the other 2 sheets are for your director's report.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the budget.
So, I work to keep it consistent like we have in the past, so it's easy to understand. So we are looking at our 26-27 carryover. We have our regular levy, which matches back to our levy order rates. And then all of this other is considered like either local revenue or other local revenue. So you have your interest earned, our E-rate, which is 90% USAC reimbursement, purchasing card rebate, oil and gas, Medicare reimbursement. Then that also includes our state aid for bus replacement, step 7, step 7B, C, charter school.
No wonder I couldn't find it.
I'll wait.
I've got you.
Wait.
Help Danny.
That's the first page.
We'll this back aside.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, I didn't realize a student was behind.
I remember 3rd grade.
Are we good?
Yep.
Okay. So, and then our state aid for PEIA, RHBT, which is also included PEIA, unfunded retirement and retirement allocation. And so the unrestricted revenue is 28.7 million. And then we have our excess levy, which is 5.2 million, and that is in accordance with our levy order rates as well. And then we have our Fund 21 and Fund 51, which are transfers from general into those specific projects. And then we have Fund 61, which are our restricted revenue, and this includes our special ed, our faculty senate, alternative ed, community and schools, Title I, Title II, Title IV. And you'll notice there is no Title V on there this year, and that is because we did not meet the criteria to get Title V this year. And so Title V, what we usually funded out of Title V was our alternative education at the high school. So now we are picking that up in the county portion, or through alternative ed state money. And I'll go over that later, but I just wanted to kind of update you if you noticed that. And then federal special ed preschool, and then our child nutrition. So for an overall budget of $43 million. So starting on the next page, this is our Fund 11. This is our general, our county fund. Anything in red, I've tried to stress in red that any kind of updates or changes I've put in there, that's not the norm or that we've added different. So one of the things is teacher coverage was in there last year, but I didn't put what they call a cost center on it so that we can tell how much we've spent in teacher coverage versus saving the cost for a sub. So this way I've allocated it different in case we want to run some reports. So you'll see that in red there. So our regular instruction programs, we are funding 80.14 FTE out of there. So that's our our general ed. And it's pretty much the same as last year. And it includes our field trip costs for tickets, mid-year transfer expenditures, and our charter schools that we have to put in there. So moving on to page 2, these are pretty much our salaries. And for attendance, our guidance counselors, HRA and nurses, so our HRA is our health reimbursement. That one is extra in case we don't have enough in our levy.
I just have a quick question. The amount that we're required by the state to put in for charter schools is part of a pool that they have, but is that a percentage based on what?
So it's based on state aid, and they have a formula that they use to.
So they basically tell you how much.
They do. There's a column that tells us how much. The only thing I don't know about is the mid-year transfers, and that's when other counties could possibly invoice us for any of our students that go to other counties. And then, or we have virtual school who will invoice us as well.
So we were told at the meeting that April 9th attended the other day that the Hope Scholarship applications have increased by 20,000 additional applications. That's kind of
Increased or reduced?
increased. Yes.
Yeah.
That was the number, correct? Yes.
We don't have many, do we? Oh, okay.
I just want it to be known that public ed has to pay for those who apply for Hope scholarships. Our numbers are reduced when people do that, but we're still required to provide the same education on the statement.
And I can say, because I talk about the mid-year transfers, that's kind of sticks with me because, so let's say we get billed from another county, we pay based on their state aid allocation, not what we get. So let's say Harrison County, their state aid per student, let's say it's like 7,000 per student, I'm just rough estimating. Ours, and maybe we're getting like 2,500, we have to pay the 7,000. Even though that's not what we get for that student, but we still have to pay it. So.
That makes total sense.
And you don't know who's gonna charge and when it's gonna go.
No.
Most counties have an agreement that we don't charge each other. And most of the counties in the state just realize it's kind of a wash. We have kids that move around a lot. But then there are just a few counties that do turn around and charge us if we have kids go to their school.
Yep.
Wood County, is Wood County.
So at the bottom of page 2, we have our admin, curriculum, and instructional director. And then at the top of page 3, we have general administration. This is our support services director. And then we have professional and staff development. In red, you'll see where I've put in there for service stipends. We had a discussion about possibly, because there's not a lot of grant funding like there is for teachers to pay for stipends and education for service, and we feel that this would be beneficial for our employees if we could do that. Technology information system, we have step 7, we're gonna fund 2.5 FTE out of there, so the 2 are the same as we have in previous years, those are our TSSs. But then in the red, you'll see, a homebound and alternative ed, half funded, and the other half is funded later on. So upon reviewing where we pay homebound and how we pay homebound and how much, we have determined that you could hire a full-time employee to manage that by how much we pay in that.
And I think the point behind that too is, we currently are managing it. Sonia Hott has been given the directive to look at how we want to move forward with that program and how to offer more support in that. And so I think with a person in that position, that would be more easily doable to offer better services.
It might also be good to know, there's a couple of different reasons why people end up on homebound. One might be because they've been suspended and required to do that, but then also accommodations have increased, correct?
Correct.
So, for example, and you can tell me I'm out of line, but there are students who now have anxiety levels that cause them to not be able to go to school 5 days a week. So that accommodation then requires homebound. I did have another question, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Can you give an example of a service stipend?
So what it would be used for, or like how much it would be?
No, just yes, what it would be used
So,
for.
can I get one?
Yes.
So we really have committed to our aides and as instructional leaders, and we would really like to offer them some additional training in 95% group because they are doing a lot, and they have increased in giving instruction and working with children, and so we would like to strengthen their knowledge of the programs that they're working in. And so to me, it would be, that's one. One could be bringing someone in to work with the custodians on a certain piece of equipment or something, or doing additional training there, but our main focus, I believe, when we looked at this, was probably aids.
Thank you.
And then at the bottom is step 7B, and that is utilized for technology. So moving on to page 4, we have the area of the expenses for board members. We have the general admin expenses, and then we have the superintendent and central office. Continuing to page 5, and we have the school administration, and then we have finance services, and all of those are pretty much standard, the same as last year. And then on page 6, we have, you'll see where it says secretaries, that's 2.5. Part of their salaries are considered finance, because we do have finance secretaries. And then we have personnel, and we have our custodians.
That's our head custodian.
Those are our head custodians. And then page 7, we have maintenance. And so you'll notice in the red, it's services for waxing floors. This is in case we need additional, or we need to have a service come in to wax down the floors. And then you'll also notice in red is utilities. So utilities is usually paid out of excess levy. With our decrease in excess levy and to continue to maintain our maintenance and transportation costs, I have moved utilities into county so that we can maintain. So moving on is for transportation. Those are just basic salaries. And then on page 8, you'll notice that above the line in red, you'll see bus replacement. That is state aid, so that's $205,147. So we can utilize that to purchase a bus. That's through state aid. And we've also added another line for bus replacement using county funds, an additional carryover that we also have for bus replacement funds. So this will help get our fleet up to at least maybe a 10 years, and it helps our reimbursement in bus replacement through the years.
So one thing I've learned, and I don't know all the details, but if your buses have so many miles on them, if they reach a certain point, you no longer get the reimbursement for them. You also want to have the newest fleet that you can have for safety reasons as well. So last week, we got approval to order a handicap bus, because you have to have a handicap bus that's on your regular fleet as well as one that's on your spare. So because of the mileage on them, we watch the mileage on them, we watch the repair cost on buses, and then we watch the years. We would like to have all of our fleet between 2019 and today, and once we do these purchases, that's where we'll be. So you'll be under 10 years for all the buses, and many of them much newer than that, because you have been very much a part of purchasing buses, and I think that's really important.
That's a huge improvement over where our fleet was a few years ago.
Yes, yes, we've really pulled away with that, so, and appreciate the support on that.
And then underneath that, you'll see where it says transportation for trips, athletics, and field trips. So, this is just an extra in there so that if we don't have enough in the levy, we can pull it over here, out of here. But the field trip driver cost, that is something that has been moved out of levy into county to help sustain the budget, which has worked out well this year for our end of the year field trips. Food service, that is our foster grandparents and officers, and then unfunded retirement comes out of our county levy. And we have the transfer out, that's for food service. And we have the transfer out to pay off our energy loan, and then transfer out for capital projects, and that goes towards any projects that we've already approved. It's just adding extra so we can continue to make those improvements with the CEFP.
So the energy loan, do you remember how many years ago we did that?
No, I just know that in December we can pay it off.
Right, I'm very thankful to hear that. I can't remember how many years.
8 or 9, because I think it was right before we took off.
Yeah, so it might be about 9 years
Yeah,
that
I was
we
gonna
have.
say,
I've been hearing,
What,
I think
15?
10.
I think it's a wonderful idea to go ahead and take care of that debt while we have the ability to do so, and then move forward. So thank you for, I know I've asked about that a couple of times, so thank you for taking care of that one in this proposed budget.
And then in the red, you'll see where I've put projects, and this is something new, but this is also for middle school and high school gymnasium floor refinish. This is in addition to what we already have in there, so we have an allocation set aside right now, but now we're gonna add additional so that we can do the gym floor refinishing. So it's a carryover from our levy. And we also have an expense and line item in there for our elevator at the middle school, high school. So we had, I don't know, if they do like an inspection or something, and said that eventually we're gonna have to work on fixing and replacing, not anywhere near, but I wanted to know what the cost of that would be so we can actually go ahead and put it in there for whenever it may need.
Expensive, that's what it is.
Yes.
Yes, very expensive. For a new elevator for sure.
And then on page 9, it is the standard with the special ed program, salaries and aides for teachers and aides. Pre-K is for the teachers, and then special ed services is our speech and occupational therapy and physical therapy. So then on page 10, we have our BOAG teacher salary, and then in red, you'll see where that other half of the homebound alternative ed teacher is. So part of it's out of step 7 and part of it's out of county. And then we have our alternative education. This is our middle school, high school. This is the portion that the county's gonna pick up. So the county will pick up 0.4 FTE for alternative ed, and then at the high school, and 0.3 for the middle school. And then we have our gifted, and we have funded our adult basic education position because usually at this time of year, we're not sure if we're going to be getting the grant, but we go ahead and fund it in here, so in case that we don't get it, we can fund it.
And it would just be a supplement if we're blessed with it, right?
Yes. On page 11, we have our concession stand permits, we have our personal leave incentive, policy for interviewing, and then the reserve for contingency. And I usually will break this down to show you that we are meeting our 5% required contingency there. And so our total county budget is $34.5 million.
I would just like to make one more statement about the adult basic ed. I think it's very wise to go ahead and budget it. It has been a questionable fund for several years, but if you all paid attention to the U.S. President's proposed budget for education this coming year, he has proposed eliminating all adult basic ed programs. So we know it's a valuable service to our community, and I think it's smart for us to prepare for whether or not we get it. So thank you for doing that.
So that ends our Fund 11 budget. And so we'll move on to the green pages, which is our excess levy. It's pretty standard as well. So in the excess levy this year, we're able to fund 31.91 FTE of our personnel. And that includes our instructional teachers, our kindergarten aides, and I see salaries just spelled wrong on there. You can look at this so many times and then you go back and see it. A social worker, we have our custodians in there, special ed teachers, our pre-K aides, and then we have our, on the top of page 13, we have our athletic coordinator, coaching and band, and our athletic trainer contract as well. So, and then moving on to dental, vision, and our health reimbursement. So this is the allocation. Of course, I took the excess levy and based it on percentages and so if we actually got our full levy, what those breakdowns were in each category, and then that's how I figured up the budget for what we are getting. I did review in some areas where maybe if we have extra there, not as much, because there's some areas that we didn't have enough. So one of the things is our dental, vision, and health. Just in case we don't have enough, it is also budgeted in county to support that in case it's not enough in the excess levy. Athletic and band supports. We also have our levy instructional supplies for the county, and that is at $125,000. We have our textbooks, workbooks, and technology section, and this is this includes our textbooks and our digital support programs for our students. We have our safe schools, which includes our PRO officers in there. And then on page 16, we have our maintenance budget. So you'll see in red, I have added the chemical cleanup. We currently have a line item this year for chemical cleanup, but we're gonna need additional so that we can get that completed. And then also in red, you'll see where it says restripe the parking lots at the middle school, high school. And then also in red, you'll see where I put beside utilities, move to the county budget to cover the expenditures. And then we also have our mowing there at the bottom.
So you moved some items out of the excess levy because you know it's coming in less than we had originally told it would.
Yes. Now what helped us this year was that last year we were able to have a little bit extra that helped us get through this year. And we don't have that this year to help sustain the budget. So then on page 17 starts our transportation. So you'll notice there's some red here. So under this other professional services, it's less than it was last year, but that's because we're still going to utilize what we have in there this year to carry forward in that line item. Fuel and diesel. So I've increased that, and I'm also using our carryover because diesel has doubled in cost, and I anticipate it's going to be up for us as well. Our gasoline is the same there, and our vehicle parts, we're also going to utilize some of our carryover to help cover that. And then we have our transportation for MOVTI and trips. This is reduced as well, but we will have, I'm estimating we're gonna have some carryover to help with that as well. And you'll see in the red where it says move to Fund 11 General, that's our field trip driver cost. So then on page 18, you have capital improvements, and under there we've added a line that is updates, and I don't think I updated this one, updates to the high school greenhouse and areas. And then we have our, that's our MOVTI allocation, and we have our extension office, and then we have our after-school summer and learning and at-risk program, or for students and tutoring. So our total levy is 5.2 million, so the total county and levy is 39.8 million. And then if you flip over, it starts the pink. This is our Fund 61, this is our restricted funds, this is through state and federal. So you have our state special ed allocation, our community and schools, that's our carryover to help with funding the salaries, and then you have our community and schools grant for next year to continue to fund the salaries. And then we have other state projects there, that's our required for staff development and faculty senate. On page 20,
We got, the pink is funded by what again?
it's through state and federal grants. Now, some of that on that state aid has to be, they want us to code it in Fund 61, but it's state. On page 20 at the top, you'll see we're able to utilize alternative ed carryover to help continue to fund the high school position that we didn't get the Title V funding for. And then we have next year's allocation for alternative ed to also help fund that high school position. So then we have step 7D, teacher and leader. This is based on our strategic plan, how it gets expensed, and that is through our state aid as well. So the overall for the state is $738,000. And then starts our federal project, so we have Title II, and these are pretty standard, there's nothing that's really changed in them. So you have Title II, Title I for salaries, Title IV, I am utilizing some carryover to cover the middle school alternative ed, and then the Title IV current year, next year to cover the middle school alternative ed as well. And in red, you'll see where I did note that we won't be getting Title V. Page 22 is our federal special ed for preschool. And then our federal special ed, our federal special ed carryover, and then our federal special ed for next year. And then at the bottom is our federal special ed for preschool. And then on page 23 gives you the total overall for federal is 1.1 million. And then starts our child nutrition program, and it's pretty straightforward as well as before. And so we're looking at 3.2 million for a total of 43 million. And then,
I'm sorry, what about us changed to not be Title V eligible anymore?
it's something to do with the rural low income, and I don't know what their formula is, but we just got an email that said that we didn't.
Yeah, some of them say you have to be under 600 students. We're above 600 students.
Total countywide.
Yeah, luckily. That's one of the factors that it's an enrollment size for. The other one is poverty thresholds. That could be a reason why people's status has changed. So I figure ours is probably enrollment, which is actually a good thing for us.
I'm
Just curious. I'm always curious, I'm sorry.
And then the last two pages They are white, is our step 7 budget. It just breaks down in detail, and it's in red there to show you that that's that homebound alternative ed position. And then step 7B is our technology. I know I just threw a lot at you all at once. But are there any questions on that?
I appreciate your organization of this. I mean, obviously the same system every year makes it easy for us to follow, and noting the changes is really good. I also definitely appreciate being proactive in knowing that the excess levy dollars are going to come in differently and preparing for that ahead of time. That helps people feel more secure in knowing that their jobs will still be there. I appreciate that effort.
So if there's no further questions, I can move on.
Apparently, yes.
I think the next part on the agenda, do you want me to go ahead and move ahead?
Yes,
Okay.
because you're next.
I figured so, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, please move on with your director.
I'll try to be quick.
No, you're fine.
So county financial audit, I will not go through all of this. I will save you, but you're welcome to look through it. This is the county audit for the financial statements, that I presented back in October. And so we did get audited and we do not have any findings.
It's something they do every year.
Yes, every year.
Costs $16,000, I saw.
And
It's required.
And it's required.
And it's required. And the good news is, we don't have any findings, and we haven't had any findings.
I know. Knock everywhere.
So this is the point where things should have been recognized with other school systems or no? That have.
Well, it
You know what I
depends.
mean?
Yes and no. Audits can be a predictor, but they are not the only predictor of financial issues. What I would say is a better predictor is this budget that we have, that not all school systems are given. Not all school systems have a treasurer that presents the same information as ours does, and it's not all as transparent as ours is, and those are the ones where they end up in more of a financial issue than we do. An audit is, like, she gets a request and you have to provide all these specific dates and their moments in time.
So, yeah, so like, sometimes they will audit, child nutrition, they will pick certain programs. This year they audited ESSER again. So, we got stuck doing, I think this makes the 3rd year in a row they've done ESSER. It just depends what they wanna look for, but then they look at your expenditures, so what we've paid out at the beginning of this year, to see if we didn't account for it in the prior year. So if it was an expense that should have been in the prior year, but we didn't get the invoice until this year, they look at that. They look at your personnel to make sure that you're paying them correctly according to how they've been approved, your contracts.
Are those different departments of the state that
So-
direct them, or is it all like financial, you know what I mean?
You mean for the audit?
Different audits, that you got the different programs.
So most of mine is all financial, but they do pick different areas. So with Sonia gets audited in her federal programs differently than I do, but there's always still a financial portion in hers. So we could get hit with multiple audits in a year.
I look at audits, especially this one, it's almost, they look more procedural things. Are you putting the purchase order in before you pay the bill, before you get the, they look for kind of procedural. Are you approving something and this person's effective date of hire is this, well, did you start paying them at that rate prior to that date? It's making sure that expenditures, that they follow the processes that are in place. One of the things that they keep talking about and that we've been very much aware of coming up is in finance is one of the only areas they still use the WEVUS.
Yeah.
As far as the old WEVUS, the green screen, it's very antiquated.
It's DOS system.
It's a DOS system.
Yeah.
And so the state, the legislation this spring has said, you gotta move forward. And so they're looking at purchasing something. that will provide, the way we understand it, provide more and better reports. And sometimes because of the DOS space, you may not be able to pull up as many details as you need to provide information to the board. But one of the things that we try to do with you, one of the sheets Lori is also going to go over with is to let you know quarterly how we are doing financially and how we're doing quarterly compared to how we were doing this time last year. And that was another red flag they talked about. If you're not getting quarterly reports to where you can see that there's some consistency in your spending, and not just your spending, but also your revenue, then that's another issue that you need to pay attention to. So I think as moving forward, if things go as planned, the new program will help eliminate having situations like they've had in those other counties. But until then, we still have to dig and find the reports that give you the information that you need to understand really where we are financially. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to point out that it was so unbelievable to me that certain counties didn't know their financial status because we're so aware of our
We're
fundings.
blessed.
And, well, we are, and I didn't realize that, so, yay.
I remember in that presentation from the State Board of Education where they listed every county and their percentages of funded employees versus unfunded, and those percentages, some of the counties were way out of line. Some of their fleets were really old and they hadn't prepared themselves to replenish their buses. And they had that big chart up there in every county, and everyone was looking for every county. And some of them were in bad shape, but it's just mismanagement. They're irresponsible boards or superintendents or whatever in those counties.
And I think one of the things they do also with this is they start giving you, and Lori and I are looking at almost like a, I don't know how to say it, like a chart at some point of course it's a chart, and it's gonna be color, and it's gonna be color coded, of course it is. And it's going to tell you financially, here are levels your county can be. We're stable, we're in good shape, we're stable, we're, and as we move forward. And here are the indicators that could cause you to have an issue. Lower enrollment can cause you to have an issue. Buildings that you aren't utilizing can cause you an issue. Yes, and so the evening that we went, I thought Rick Boothby did a nice job presenting us with some of that information that we're gonna pull together and come back with you even as we go into next year and kind of educate you on where we are in all of the areas that could cause you to have issues financially. We're not there, but we do have some indicators that aren't as strong. Not everyone, most of the counties in the state of West Virginia are feeling less enrollment. She just talked about the Hope Scholarship, how that's going to also cause lower enrollment. So I think that will have an impact moving forward, but the best thing for us to do is to continue to talk to you about it and let you know, here's where we are, this is where our costs lie, and again, to make sure we balance our budget and make good decisions. And prepare for things, like looking at the fleet. Now that we got a little extra money, make sure that we are in good shape. So.
Right, not disregarding an audit, a clean audit is a beautiful thing, and
Yes.
we're very thankful to get a clean audit.
Yes.
Good job.
I was just trying to say it's not the only indicator that is used to look at the financial well-being of our school system, but very, very thankful for this beautiful clean audit.
Thanks.
I'm glad to.
One more question, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
So you said that we could bill other counties if we had transfers, correct? But we can't do that with our Hope Scholarship, can we? That's, yeah. No, we can. It's not fair.
Yeah.
And that's a decision made by our legislature, so we can let them know how we feel about it.
So I think the next thing on the agenda is, the purchasing card policy. So later on in the agenda, is asking for your approval for first reading, because I have made some revisions to the purchasing card policy. It's very minimal, so the purchasing card policy, I've updated it, and this is through the state auditor's office wording, not to purchase land, buildings, vehicles, or equipment using the purchasing card. And then the other thing is I added it because we did get a purchasing card for fuel for our van. And so, so if there's any kind of trips that they need to go on, they can use the purchasing card here. And it's for, fuel only. They cannot use it for food or beverages or maintenance, vehicles, accessories, or non-fuel items. And then they must keep receipts to obtain the fuel expenditures, and if the receipts are not submitted upon return, the employee is responsible to reimburse the county for unauthorized charges. So that's the only changes I had in that. And then the other is, I have also budget transfers, and then I also have the quarterly statement. So I'll go over the budget transfers first. So this is Fund 61 for ABE. It's transferring for textbooks, and she advertises in the newspaper. And then Fund 11 for levy. This is a transfer for what I'm estimating the remaining for utility costs for custodial maintenance supplies, professional services, and transportation line areas. And then Fund 11 general is to transfer to finish the replacement of desks at the middle school, high school, utilizing some of our carryover. And then I evidently did not make myself an extra copy, so can someone? Sorry. Thanks. So this shows as of the third fiscal quarter, so it's for July through March. So you'll see in the first column it says year-to-date revenues. We have Fund 11, which we just went over, as our county. We have a revenue of 11.5 million. We have our excess levy, which is 3.7 million so far, and our Fund 61 is 2.2 million. So total, we have 17.5 million in revenue that's come in so far. And for the expenditures going out, we have 8.1 million in Fund 11, 3.3 million in excess, and our special revenue is 2.1 million. So our total expenditures is 13.6 million. And you can see on the last two columns is our prior year, and it'll give you our change for the prior year. So you'll see that some of our expenditures are up a little bit, but also some of that has to do with some of our projects we're working on and doing.
Extremely well balanced for the reduction in levy dollars. Well, better than well balanced.
And then we also have, you'll see at the top too, where it does show the decrease in the excess levy compared to last year at this time. Any questions on any of that?
Much gratitude.
I think that's all my show today.
I told her it was Lori Bell's show tonight.
Thank you.
She was featured.
Oh. All right, next we have the consent agenda.
We have 4 items on the consent agenda. We have some volunteers. We normally get those this time of year for field trips that are coming up. We also have the summary proposed calendar for next school year. You do have a copy of that in front of you. It tells you, and we'll start doing some promotions with this, tells you when school starts, when it ends next year, when holidays are, just to let folks know. It is on our website as well, but that's just a summary that we provide you to let you know what's coming up as we start planning. We ask that you approve Jonah Rutker. He's a student at Glenville State University to complete his residency 1 and 2, residency 1 in the fall and 2 in the spring. He will be at multiple schools because he is a music major. And so he will be with Mr. Flesher at the high school and middle school, as well as with Mr. Simons at Creed and Harrisville. And also to approve the senior class trip out of state travel to Columbus, Ohio to Scene 75. As they approve those as stated on the agenda.
The superintendent is recommending that we approve the consent agenda as stipulated on the record. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Reed makes a motion, Mrs. Keen will second. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we
recommend that we approve the purchasing policy card as, Ms. Wells described, and as you have a copy of, with those changes made.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Hall makes the motion, Mr. Nelson will second. Any further discussion? If not, all of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have resignations submitted after publication of the agenda.
We have the resignation of Rachel Parsons as the head volleyball coach at the middle school. Savannah Smith, who is a substitute for us, is resigning as the substitute teacher as well as the assistant cheer coach at Ritchie County High School. I ask that you approve those resignations after submission of the publication of the agenda.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next we have employments. We're gonna start with school year 26.
I broke these down into number 1, school year 26, and then we'll have a number 2 and a 3 because there's multiple
Thank you.
sections. I didn't think this would make sense if we put it all together. So we're gonna start, these are jobs that would begin or end school year 26. The first one, I need to make a correction. Mr. DePino had asked for a different effective date, and that information did not get to me before the last meeting. This was one of those things that an audit might catch if we didn't correct it, and so we're gonna correct it. His actual effective date would have been April 2nd, not March 27th. So I want to make that correction. Then we ask that you hire the following: Joey Carmichael at Harrisville Elementary, he's a multi-cat teacher. Jessica Moore as a substitute aide. Hannah Colvin as a substitute cook. Christian McCullough, I want you to see both of these too. Christian McCullough as a substitute bus driver and Brian McCloskey as a substitute bus driver. Andrew Adams, who is a substitute bus driver, will now be a full-time bus driver on route number 5109. And then we have Dina Cunningham to fill a leave of absence for a cook position, and then the new position for the custodian's grounds person. Here at the board office, transportation, and Ritchie County Middle School sports facilities will be Kathy Rupert. She will transfer, and then Brandon Bowie as the assistant football coach at Ritchie County High School. I ask that you approve those for the year for 26 school year.
I was reading that again, so superintendent is recommending that we approve employments for the school year 26 noted under number 1, the ones that aren't marked off. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Hall makes the motion and Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Number 2, I'm not going to read you all of these names, but for the outdoor camp, Kelsey Wagner will be hired. We are asked that you approve her as the director or the coordinator. She's been that for a number of years. Then there B through O, there are 14 teachers that will work the outdoor camp. P through T, those are 5 substitutes. They are actually full-time teachers, but they will work as substitutes in the outdoor camp this summer. Nurse would be Elisa Scheffler. A sub-nurse would be Leanna Parsons. Kelsey has an activity schedule. She will be hired for that if approved. And Clarissa Watson will work in the role of a counselor this summer. Those are all positions for the outdoor rec camp. And I ask that you approve those as stated on the record.
Do we have a motion to approve the hiring for the positions for the outdoor rec camp?
And I should have said the professional. Those are all professional positions.
All of the professional positions. Mr. Reed makes the motion and Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So now we're gonna do service
So
personnel.
now for the outdoor rec camp. And B and C would be the outdoor rec camp cooks. D through J will be the 7 routes and the drivers for those routes. And then K through N, or K through M, will be the shuttle run. They actually run, they stay at the camp and run them to different sites in North Bend and to Cairo. And then Christy Smith would be the special ed instructional transportation aide at the outdoor camp. So I ask that you approve those cooks, custodians, shuttle run, bus operators, as well as an aide, as stated on the record.
All right, superintendent is recommending that we approve the service personnel positions for the outdoor rec camp. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mr. Hall, second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And now we have transition camp, 5th and 9th grade and police academy.
So for the transition camp, A, B, C, D, and E will be teachers or special ed teachers for the 5th grade transition camp. 9th grade teachers are F, G, and H, and then I is the cook for the police academy. I will ask that you approve those as stated on the record.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have school year 27.
So these positions are from people that have retired or have left us, and we're starting to post, these are the service positions, and then we will begin posting the full-time positions that are professional as well. So this is the time we start, and that's why it's separated. They don't start their employment until July 1. The first one is Cassidy Tansey. She would be a transfer into an ECAP position. Devin Lamb would be, he is the second cook at Cree. He would move into the head cook's position. I ask that you approve those as stated on the record.
Do we have a motion for approval for where we're beginning school year 27 hires? Did you have a question?
Cook or custodian?
I'm sorry, did I say cook?
Yeah.
I meant to say
Okay.
custodian.
Okay.
Thank you for keeping me straight. Head
Custodian.
Well,
custodian.
it's two different things.
I saw custodian just like she saw 21 or.
Yeah, I did. I saw 22 of them. All right, Mr.
Thank you
Reed
for correcting me.
made the motion and,
That's what I said there, like-
who was seconding? I need a second. Mr. Reed made the motion. Okay, thanks. Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next, we have approval of payment of the bills in the amount of $883,477.86. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Paul makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of paying the bills, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next, we have financial requests.
On number 2, we have transfers. Mrs. Wells has gone over that. We also ask that you approve the FY 27 proposed budget to be placed on public inspection. For the following year, for the 26-27 school year, we have provided you what our coaching pay schedule will look like, our attendance and substitute pay schedule, as well as payroll schedule. You will start seeing things on the agendas from what's happening to finish and what's coming next. And so these are some of these that are coming next. And also approve a memorandum of oil and gas lease with Terra Resources that would be effective tomorrow. But this is the memorandum for the lease, and then in a minute you'll see some more things with it. I ask that you approve numbers 2 through 7.
All right, the superintendent is recommending that we approve the financial requests as she just shared with us, so do we have a motion? Mrs. King will make the motion. Mr. Reed will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next, we have approval of an oil and gas lease.
With the Terra Corporation, and that's for the actual lease, and then to approve an oil and gas settlement statement in the amount of $600. So that is the second half of that, once we approve the memorandum. I ask that you approve both of those items as stated under the financial request.
And do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Hall makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. Do you want to explain number 2?
That's why Lori's here tonight.
Lori.
So I sent this memorandum to Lyndon Law Offices to review. So they worked to get this settlement, I guess, of $600 for it's a very small portion of the county. Yeah.
All right, very, very Sliver, it's a sliver, all right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have requests for the agenda for the next board meeting? Do we have any board member committee reports?
And I have a question about the greenhouse. What improvements do we have planned?
We don't really have, they're not for like plans in the works, but we know that we need to
Right.
kind of update maybe some of the fencing, maybe get like some storage stuff. We know also with doing the parking lot that it's going to, yeah. So we're just looking at maybe some upgrades.
I was just wondering, because like the new things probably didn't upgrade.
I don't think we've been upgraded for a while.
Still?
I think we put a heater in there a
Oh,
few
did you?
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's been quite a while. If you look at it,
Yeah.
you'll notice. Our next meeting is May 11th at 6 o'clock at the Ritchie County Board of Education office, and it will include our annual meeting with Ritchie County High School, our LSIC meeting for West Virginia Code 18-5-14, which will be our last LSIC meeting of this year, correct? Yes. Okay, great. We're gonna get them all in time. That's fabulous. So the time